Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Here are 10 more copy and paste tricks for your Mac. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There you could read more about it, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. So in the last video I showed you 10 copy and paste tricks. Here are 10 more. Let's start first in the Photos app. Let's say you go into a photo like this one, you edit it, and you make some adjustments. I'm going to adjust the colors. I'm going to make some light changes here. And let's say I like what I've done. I can click Done here and I'm done with this particular photo. With it selected I can go to Image and I can copy edits. Now I can select one or even several other photos like these. You go to Image and then Paste Edits. And it will apply those same changes to all those other photos. It's great when you have a sequence of photos of basically the same thing and you want to apply the same adjustments to all of them. There's actually something kind of similar in Pages. You can select some text and of course you can go to Edit, Copy. But if you look under Format there's also Copy Style. If you copy Style and then select Other Text and then go to Format, Paste Style, notice the keyboard shortcuts are just Option-Command-C and Option-Command-V. Then it will apply that style to the text you have selected. A lot of people don't realize that you can use copy and paste in iMovie to copy a whole sequence of different elements from one project to another. So for instance I'll go into this iMovie project here and I'm going to select 3 different things. I've got 2 different videos, one with some filters and color changes and title, and I'm going to do Command-C to copy, and then I'm going to exit this project and go into another one and I'm just going to go to Edit and then Paste. And then I've pasted those elements here. It's great if you've created say a title sequence or closing sequence and want to reuse it over and over again in different projects. Also notice you can select a video clip like this and then copy and then go to another clip like this one here and then go to Edit, Paste Adjustments, and paste all the adjustments or just specific ones. So I could add all of them here and you can see how it makes this clip look like this one by using all of the changes I made to it. Now when you copy and paste a link and send it to somebody they go to the entire web page. What if you wanted them to see a specific part of that page? Well, you can actually do a web link that will highlight some text on the page. Now to do this I'm going to switch to the Chrome browser. I encourage people to keep other browsers around. Even though I use Safari as my main browser, I keep Chrome around for various little things and this is one of them. So I'm going to select some text here on the page in Chrome and then I'm going to Control click, 2-finger click on the trackpad or right click on the mouse, and instead of choosing Copy I'm going to choose Copy Link to Highlight. So now if I were to paste that link, like maybe I would include that in an email message or a text message, notice that it has this special text here at the end that points to that exact part of the page. And if I look at it you can see how it highlights that. Now the cool thing about these links is even though you can't make these links in Safari, you can actually use them. So if somebody clicks on it and they're using Safari as their browser, they get the same long URL here, and when they use it in Safari, notice how Safari correctly highlights the text. Matter of fact, it does a better job than Chrome on this end of things. Hopefully we get the ability to create these links at some point in a future version of Safari as well. In the Calendar app you can copy and paste events. But the cool thing is you can decide what day the new event appears. So I can select this event here and use Command-C to copy. Now if I wanted to appear on a specific day, all I need to do is click in that day. Notice nothing changes. It doesn't indicate that I've clicked there. But if I do Command-V to paste, it will actually put the event there. And I could click somewhere else, paste again. It's going to use the same time but it will change the day for that event. So it makes it easy to take say a previous event like a dentist appointment and copy it and then paste it somewhere else without having to start from scratch. So an interesting thing happens if you go to the Applications folder on your Mac and then you were to select an application, like let's select Maps here, and then copy. Now if I were to go into Preview and create a new document from the clipboard, I actually get the icon. I get all of the different versions of the icon at different resolutions here. If I wanted to use this in another app, like say put it into a Pages document, the way to do that would be to make some sort of selection here in the image, then do Command A to grab the whole thing, copy. Now I have an actual image, and if I switch to Pages here I can paste that image in. An easier way to do that would be to use File, Get Info, and then select the icon here, Command C to copy, and then go and paste it in directly like that, skipping preview. And that second method works for folders and files as well. Now speaking of files, you can of course copy and paste files from one folder to another. I showed you how to do that in the last video. But you can also go to Edit, Copy, and if you hold down the Option key, notice Copy changes to Copy as Path Name. So now you can get the full path name for any file. Now if you just copy the file, in many cases, like in the case of this image here, you can actually then go and paste the file into a document like in Pages, and it will actually import the image. It's just another way to do a file import. Now when editing text in most apps that have text, you actually have a second clipboard. And this clipboard is part of old Linux systems. And the way it works is this. You use Control K, so it's Control not Command, to kill text. So it's equivalent to cut. And then you use Control Y to yank it back. Now the cool thing about this is it doesn't affect the regular clipboard. So I can copy the word this into the clipboard like that. And then I can do Control K to kill that word there. I can then Command V to paste this and then Control Y to yank back the second word. If you ever use Spotlight for things like calculations, note you can copy the results. So I'm going to do Command Space for Spotlight, and then I'm going to do a fairly complex formula there, and you can see I get an answer. Now without having to do anything else I can just simply do Command C to copy. When I switch to another app and do Command V to paste, it pastes the result. You can actually use this in a few other cases as well. For instance, if I do Weather Denver like that, you can see I get the result right there, and clicking on that would take me to the Weather app. But I can also do Command C and then I can paste it here, and it gives me a link that I can then use to go into the Weather app. Now one last one I'm going to show you is Universal Clipboard. You can copy and paste between your Apple devices. It's important of course that you follow Apple's instructions, including having them each signed in to the same Apple ID, having Bluetooth and Wi-Fi turned on, and handoff options turned on. You could read more about it at this page. And once you have that going, you can say select some text in one device, so here on an iPhone, and copy, and then on another device you can do Command V to paste and it will paste the text in. It should work instantly, but note that it only sticks around for a certain period of time. So whatever was in the clipboard on my Mac before would have returned to the clipboard after a minute or two if I didn't do anything with the Universal Clipboard like pasting it. So I hope you found these copy and paste tricks useful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.